Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more action here at the Kiev Major Qualifiers coverage. Coming to you live from the Beyond the Summit studio in LA. I'm ODPixel, I'm here with CC&C, and we're ready to take you through yet another game. We have Ninjas in Pyjamas up against Alliance. The draft has begun. Coming into this, CC&C, I mean, can NiP do it? You feel NiP, can they take down Alliance? Alliance has been looking pretty hot today. And, I mean, these picks as well. Alchemist in the opening too. This is some interesting stuff, isn't it?
That is very unusual, especially versus Avenged Weaver. Alchemist is not known for being amazing versus minus armor. They're also pretty fast heroes that like to get aggressive early on and try and like pressure your towers and stuff. They also have like good building damage, which is like what's best versus Alchemist, taking his map control early on. I don't really know what they're going for with this first two Alchemists. I haven't seen this in a really long time.
And where's the Keeper of the Light?
And where's
it's
the
not
Coddle?
been touched yet. I mean, surely, both teams could certainly fit a Coddling, couldn't they? Here?
Yeah, I think there was a time where Synderen was playing Coddle like when it wasn't even good. Like he was playing Coddle all the time, and it wasn't even like very good then. And then now,
he was kind of the pioneer, was he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then now when it's good, they don't pick it.
Not going to be able to get a chance to either this game, as indeed Alliance do ban out there. Keeper of the Light, Timbersaw taken out from the side of Alliance's NIP Bandit. Dazzle in return as well. I guess Dazzle just one of those heroes very good against kind of the Venge and the Weaver, making it, forcing Weaver to stick around that little bit longer to find a kill and maybe putting himself in danger by doing so.
Yeah, I think it's also a hero NIP play a decent amount. It's like it's a Synderen hero, and yeah, it's very good versus like the physical damage that Alliance have. Weaver, Venge, that's like all physical. So the Dazzle works pretty well against that. And NIP like always takes this Ogre first two, whether they're Dire or Radiance. I think Ogre is typically a hero that like the really top teams will pick, like only super situationally if they're on Radiant, because it's a lot easier to harass the mid lane just because of how like the hills work. There's a lot more space on the Dire hill that you can just sort of whop the dude and actually zone out of XP range, which is like you can't really do. You can like harass him from the Dire side on the Radiant hill, but you can't really zone him out of XP. So, but like NIP just picks it regardless of anything. Like they will always first pick this hero. It's kind of interesting.
Alliance with the clock, but we did see that. We saw Alliance play that already today, I want to say, didn't it? Do you remember? I think it was in the first game they had a really...
Yeah, that was that was the Spectre game.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Which they did win that game. That was against, of course, Beam Boys, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes, that was
the first game of the day.
Yeah.
And we saw a very strong clock performance where he ran, he went for the Midas first, and it ended up working out very, very well for him. So we'll see if that happens again this game. And with that kind of revealed as well, are you looking at this Weaver? Is that a loader hero, or do you think that's more likely to be the support duo? Or does Loader play the Vengeful Spirit? What are we going to see Alliance pick up in terms of who's playing what this game?
I think that is the nice thing about the draft. It's a little bit of like anonymity with the heroes. I think Loda has played the Venge like quite a bit in the past. He's also played the Weaver. I don't really remember them playing. I think EGM would be the Weaver player. Hanskin, I think, plays the 5. I don't remember him playing Weaver that much, if at all. I think it's a hero they've run offline a couple of times, but the Clockwork is most probably going to be offline. So I would think it would be probably the Weaver carry. I don't think it's a limp hero, so I don't think it'll be some sort of weird Weaver mid. And Weaver also doesn't do very well against Alchemist in lane.
I was going to say, yeah, because we have seen Weaver put mid sometimes to get that matchup, but Weaver, you just do not want to put... That's not a matchup that you choose to put a Weaver in.
Yeah, he kind of has issues like the dealing with the acid spray. He's a hero that likes to, like... You kind of want to abuse your strength once you're like level 4 or 5 and stuff, but around that time, like Alchemist is getting close to his level 6. It's really rough for you early on because your hero is so short range. Like you're essentially a melee hero, and you're very squishy as well. So the acid spray kind of owns you. And then once the Alchemist is 6, then you don't hurt him anymore. So, and you're also sort of like trapped there. You can't rotate around. There's not supports you can pressure like there would be if you were in the safe lane. You TP to the off lane or just laning the off lane.
I'm intrigued that they're going to go for the Batrider pick, but I mean, I just maybe but Venge, Weaver, and Clock. These are 3 heroes that doesn't it make it kind of hard for the Bat to play because you've got already 3 heroes that can search for him and find him and catch him in the trees. Or is it okay?
I think they're more going for just like a strong lane. I think this is going to be an Ogre Bats dual offline, probably. I say that, but NIP almost always harasses mid with this Ogre. They'll like always give Qualifier a good start, or at least some kind of a start. Yeah, but I don't think the Bat is particularly good this game just as a hero. It's versus Avenge.
Yeah.
It's not amazing versus a Weaver, a hero that's like perfectly fine buying Lincolns a lot of games.
It feels like you're just picking Bat into heroes that they like. If Alliance were told you're going to be playing against a Bat Rider this game, they probably wouldn't have picked anything other than these 3 openers.
Yeah, it is. I think NIP's heroes are kind of weird. I think the Alchemist verse 2 is a thing that like NIP, I could see NIP doing just because they almost always first 2 Qualifier hero.
Yeah, and Qualifier is historically is very good on the Alchemist, isn't he? Any kind of farming.
Yeah, like Invoker, Tinker, Alchemist, and
Naga.
Yeah, and like Naga, Longer. Those are like his heroes. Those like 5 heroes are the ones he's like traditionally known for. But I think Alliance getting this Slaughter is very problematic for NIP. It's so hard for this Alchemist to deal with all this minus armor. They have Venge, Slaughter, and Weaver. It's a ton of roast potential as well, so it gives them some ways to a way to go high ground against this Bat Rider Alchemist, heroes that are very, very good at defending high ground.
I'll be interested to see what Alliance pick up as their final one. I mean, if the Alchemist and the Bat and the with this lineup, TA would be great, but NIP, well, especially with that, they're saying do not pick TA, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're making sure there's no chance for a limp TA.
Yeah, I was thinking about TA, but then you see Bat Rider and Ogre, you're gonna get harassed in the lane. It's kind of annoying. I think TA would have been pretty good. It's maybe kind of all in on like physical damage, although I think it's okay this game. But now that the Venom's there, it's just obnoxious.
Maybe something to kind of fill that gap that kind of crosses between the two. Could you maybe see like a limp Mirana coming through on the mid lane?
I think that's maybe a little too weak in lane versus Alchemist. I think you want. I was gonna say Ursa, but you don't want Ursa versus Bat Rider Veno. That sounds like a nightmare. So I think probably they look for something maybe a little bit more that can scale a little bit better into the late game. That also like does well versus the Alchemist. I think the Sniper is a very good band from NIP. Does pretty well versus the Alchemist in lane, and you've got a Bat Rider, which is like some okay catch, but they can always swap this Sniper out if he got jumped, and then he's just totally free to peep away on all the heroes.
Well, so NIP themselves obviously looking for what we'd imagine an Ares hero with this final selection. But wait, no, did they think it was a core Venom answer?
They do. They think it's safe lane Veno.
Do you think that's likely? It's not very error-ish, is it? To play the Venom in the safe lane?
I think it's possible. You want some hero that's not super farm dependent because you have an Alchemist. You want a hero that can like actually pressure and force the lines to be in your lanes, or to have to respond to the lanes. You want a lot of heroes that give lane pressure, so that way the Alchemist is free to do whatever because you can't rotate on him. And I think the Veno does do that. It allows you to pressure the offline tower quite a bit. It's really obnoxious for this Clockwork. Although he will be able to get... Okay, no, so it is support. So it's jungle Veno? Maybe they'll do some sort of dual offline Veno? Could be support Bat Rider as well.
Yeah,
where he sit mid and sticky whoever.
Ways to switch it around for sure. But yeah, interesting, but even so, nonetheless, still something that I don't really kind of strike me as an arrow hero, but Necrophos.
Yeah, I think
final pickup.
I think it's really good versus all this physical damage. Obviously, you have the built-in Ghost Scepter. It adds on to this 5-man. I think the Ogre having at least a decent game and getting a quick Solar Crest is pretty huge this game. Like building whatever armor items they can, I think is going to be pretty massive. I think in history, Trixie is almost always the one that plays this Venomancer. They like whenever they pick it, they'll do like some offline Veno, but I kind of worry like he can't really go to lane versus these heroes. Like it's a Venge Weaver, he's gonna die for sure. So,
what about the Limp Puck? Finish it off with one of the classics. You've got that way to shut down these kind of magic casters that you Spirit. I guess there's another kind of way of getting to the back lines. You pick something like a Storm, something that's going to be able to ball in instantly, remove one of the bigger kind of team fight threats. And yeah, I mean, I feel that's kind of a good finisher, but lane-wise, he's going to do all right against the Alchemist. Do you like the Storm pick, or do you feel he's going to have trouble?
I think he'll do fine. We'll see if the Ogre sits in his lane or not, but Storm has a lot of armor, so he's like okay versus the Acid Spray. And as a hero that traditionally is a hero that the other mid hero likes to punish because you don't really want a Storm getting off to a good start. But Alchemist is sort of the opposite of that. He's sort of a Dragonite style where you pick him because, you know, he's this hero that doesn't really get punished by many heroes, but Storm is like perfectly fine trading farm. And he'll get a little bit more than the Alchemist, obviously, as Gruvo's Greed, so he'll get more last hits, but not more net worth. But yeah, Batrider is one of the worst catch heroes against Storm, just because the lasso is so short range. The Storm is zipping around all the time. It's very, very hard to get on top of him. He's quite good versus the Necrophos, as well as the Veno. He's a natural Orchid carrier, so you could stop them from getting off the Ghost Scepter, or what it's called, Ghost Shroud, and then, you know, stop the Veno from getting off the Poison Nova. I think Storm is quite good this game overall.
Very, very interesting drafts, and well, quite a treat. There's been a lot of variety really in the qualifiers in terms of what each team is trying to bring to the forefront and find that success with. But now the draft's complete. Do you have kind of a favoured side here in this matchup? I mean, obviously in terms of the team's records, Alliance are having the better day. Do you feel that they've got the better draft in this heads-up?
Yeah, I think so. I think in general, these lineups that are very, very 5-man oriented, that don't have a lot of catch, you typically tend to favor the lineups that have more options, that have, you know, more things they could potentially do. I'd say Alliance probably have the late game this game. Their lanes are quite solid. You know, this bot lane, I think Loda's going to have basically free farm. I don't think they can really zone Jonas and Fan out of top lane. So I think, like, whenever you're not absolutely crushing your lanes with this sort of a 5-man lineup, and, you know, these heroes, they can split the map. They have a lot of pickup potential between, like, the Slaughter, the Storm, the Clockwork, a lot of ways to initiate fights. I think Alliance just have a lot more options, as well as having probably the better late game. I think it's definitely on NIP to make things happen, and they have to have very, very crisp execution in this game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the late game as well, you say that Alliance has got the better one. Even if we see Qualifier go on one of his farm Frenzy Fest where he's, you know, 15k ahead of the leading farmer, do you feel that it's just not going to be enough having that on the Alchemist to deal late game with the kind of options Alliance have in terms of their heroes?
Yeah, I mean, Alchemist in general is not really a great late game hero. That hero is all about, like, turbo farming and then hitting, like, this 30-something minute phase where you're just, like, unkillable and you walk down lanes. But come 10-20 minutes later, you haven't gotten an item in 10-20 minutes. So, you know, and the hero naturally doesn't really have a way to stick on heroes, isn't great at actually right-clicking. He's just sort of this hero that runs in. It doesn't really take damage. You know, Necrophos, not really the greatest of late gamers. Can be good if he has another right-clicking core paired up with him, but Alchemist, not really a right-clicker or a amazing scaling core in his own right.
So lane-wise, as we're seeing, pretty much exactly what you called here with Sin going to the mid lane immediately to put Harass down onto Limp. And as you wanted, Hani, straight into the jungle. Do you feel this this kind of greed NIP can get away with in the laning stage? You know, are we going to see Ari just do absolutely fine against this block up top on his own?
Yeah, I think it should be a reasonably even matchup early on. I think as it goes a little bit later, the Necrophos has potential to pull a little bit ahead, but I think the Clockwork will do just fine. He has a little bit more damage than Necrophos. Obviously, he's melee, but he has the cogs, can potentially push him back, and I think maybe even could get a kill at like level 3 or something like that if he's ahead a level. Because even just trading a lot of attacks, Air might be a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's trying to man up here. There's the first cogs back. Innocent Fan looking to chase him down here with the Battery Assault. The creeps that they're going to be able to tank it are falling very, very low. Error, he tries to block him back there with a tree. Isn't going to work out. And it looks like the regen's just too much.
Oh, cancelled the salve.
Yeah. Salve cancelled. And already, I think as you were saying, Innocent Fan is certainly being able to zone him. You know, a few levels, Battery Assault on the cogs. It's tricky for Error in this top situation, and he can't really expect any help anytime soon from Hani, who is, of course, in the jungle.
Yeah, now that he has the Shrine, obviously on the Clockwork, but the Necro doesn't really have access to that. He can throw a missile up the top or wherever. Actually pops, or cancels Cinderen's Clarity. Nice rocket from Jonas and Fan. But yeah, Era has the last hit into the tower. Not the easiest of things to do with the Necrophos. Can, you know, sort of build up some of the regen back now that he's level 3, so has the 2 points in the Death Pulse. And gets a little bit more of that regen whenever he gets these last hits under towers. Getting basically all of them, so we'll heal considerably back up, even though the salve getting cancelled. Not as disastrous because it is on the Necrophos.
Bottom lane EGM Loader trying to make a bit of a go there onto CC&C, but he's able to TP there back out to the tier 1. Mid lane Limp and Qualifier continuing to trade blows. 14 for 4 on Limp, 11 for 0 on Qualifier. Has to be careful. He's got the bottle out, so he should be fine. Hans can continue to stay in the neighborhood just in case anything kicks off mid. as Syndra and Qualifier will head back to Shrine Up. Hani, jungle progress, level 4 at the moment, so uninterrupted. And I guess, I mean, with the heroes that Alliance have, is there anything they could do to kind of go to the jungle and mess with Hani, or have you just got to leave the Venomancer and let him be in these early stages? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much he can do. Slaughter's not the greatest level 1 trading hero. Has got a pretty garbage attack animation and like pretty bad attack speed as well. And you have to know exactly where this Venomancer is, or he gets level 2 and then he's just a level up on you. You can't really trade with him anymore. It's super hard to contest this hero unless you're something like a tree or something like that. But that hero's not even captain's mode, so.
On top, there's a fan again making a note of going to Arab. It's incredibly low. Arab out of regen, only mana for one more pulse. It's going to need to rely on getting the CS there to get the regen back up.
Yeah, he's trying to push the wave in on the Clockwork so they can dive in potentially with Slaughter, but Cinder's there to back him up, so I don't think he'll be going down here. Should be able to heal up from this wave if he gets these last hits.
Mid lane, Limp, still with the slight lead. Is this pretty much how you imagine this mid lane to go? Both heroes being able to find the farm, or did you expect someone to have more of an edge?
Yeah, I think Storm, if he's uncontested, if this Ogre wasn't sitting there messing with him. Oh.
Bottom lane, we saw EGM, it got a bit greedy, came all the way up to the level of the shrine to try and make a play, but NIP more than happy to turn it around underneath the regen of it.
Yeah, I think the Storm typically will have a better time than the Alchemist if he's not getting messed with, but the Syndering comes in here and throws the Ignites in, just sort of bops him a little bit. And so, is having a decent time though, is about the same CS as the Alchemist, which you're perfectly fine with as a Storm. Although there is going to be this period of time where this Venomancer, is up to like level 6, 7, just comes out into this bottom lane and starts being a pest, or maybe he could even go to mid, to be honest. The Storm doesn't really deal with these Veno wards at all and would kind of just have to leave the lane. We'll see where he heads. I think mid is a decent place to go. Bot's probably not so good because he can get killed by this Venge Weaver.
So they're going to make another attempt here on Era's life. The TP backup will come through, and Era's going to be fine. Question is if NLP can get themselves in a position to turn it around. Trixie trying to chase, but they're already back out. So a couple of TPs forced out there from NIP. I mean, Era, considering the amount of pressure that's been put on this lane, he hasn't died. And the CS is still looking pretty good for him. He's ahead of the clock. He is having the better time in this lane, despite Alliance's best efforts to really try and throw him off course, constantly sending Hanskin up there as well.
Yeah, it's a hero it's pretty hard to pressure, especially once you get up to like the level 5, get 3 points in death pulls. He's just constantly healing up, and if you're not 100 to zeroing him, then he's always just going to heal back up as we saw. Like, even with his salve getting cancelled level 1, it was like a disastrous level 1, and he's still just perfectly fine. And now that he has the phase boost, the clock can't really come to lane at all. There's not really too much he can do.
And we can see, obviously, load up on the safe lane respectively for Alliance. He himself already finding very, very good CS. I mean, if we kind of look across the board, no one's really being slowed down in terms of the core positions. I guess the one comparison you can make is Trixie was not really finding anything with regards to gold. Did get a few levels, but it's going to be a slow progress for this Batrider. But of course, that kind of lane deficiency is kind of offset by the fact that Hani continues to have a brilliant time. Level 7.5, nearly reaching on to level 8. I mean, what is the plan for this Veno? When does he finally leave the jungle? What's he working towards?
I think once Qualifier, maybe is he going for the armlets? Yeah, he actually has it. All right, yeah. So yeah, he's doing it at a pretty good clip. I think maybe the Hani will rotate to the mid lane and just start spamming down these wards. Force heroes from Alliance to rotate while the Alchemist can farm up the jungle freely. As Alliance, they're pretty bad at actually bringing down this Alchemist early on. And the way their lanes went with this Veno just free farming, the Necrophos having a pretty nice time top, I think NIP has a reasonable window where they can start 5-manning down these towers, or 4-manning down these towers. While the Alchemist just farms the jungle, gets up to that radiance, and then they can slowly start up this 5-man where they're just indestructible. And I think Alliance going to be trying to look for any small pickups they can. The Clockwork just got his level 6, so they may look to make a move up with the Necrophos. I think that's a hero that they could conceivably bring down. It's pretty hard to kill this Alchemist. He's always just in the jungle. You never know where he is. I'm surprised Hani is still farming. He's level 8.
He's sticking there. I mean, This is such a great position to jungle in, isn't it? Because you're between these three camps and you're not in the main jungle, you're so close to any potential backup coming through that you're just in no danger whatsoever. He's had the freest to farm. Top lane, Jonas and Fan did hook shot in. Maybe was hoping that Loda could get into position for follow-up damage, but I mean, with the two of them, it's such a hard kill, and Error already actually just TPs out of that top lane, realizes something fishy is about to go down, and wants to try and help with the committal down bottom to find some action as Nip. Moving on to EGM, and EGM, no hope for him at all with that movement from Loda. So I think Error just nicely realizing, all right, you move your carry up here, I'll just move to the other lane, take a support, and by the looks of it, get an objective as well with Harney pushing the lane down. Yeah,
and I think I think the Loda TPing up there for the clockwork, this ward like paid huge dividends because they saw him so early on.
Yeah.
The Veno immediately started running down to bottom whenever they saw that TP. And now the Veno actually has a TP as well, so he can potentially TP up to this top line, although this tower is kind of a death trap nowadays, so I think they may just let this go. And then take control of the Radiant jungle. And this Alchemist is just so farmed. He has 2.4k gold on top of the armlets. They're definitely like setting up to hit this timing where they have this super strong 5-man, and Alliance don't really have the tools to defend it. They have a lot of kill potential. They can potentially, you know, like bring down these heroes, but as far as just like chipping them down or like delaying the push, they're not really that great on. They kind of just go all in and they kill heroes, or they don't do anything at all.
Trixie's just going to look to clear this camp, as it will give him the level 6 to have Lasso online. Limp just down at the edges. He's going to make an attempt on this. The hook shot from Jonas Fan didn't connect. It may not matter. They'll surround him in the cogs, and they do take him down. Brush onto the Ogre, trying to hold him back, but Harney coming in with a very nice ultimate onto 3 heroes. They'll Necro out down 1 as Sladar's taken away. And
so
with
fast.
the chase down, they may just get more. The Shrine is unavailable for Alliance as Jonas Fan, he drops Harney with the ward snipe. Oh my goodness. The jungle Veno, it's going to be an all-year pub CC&C. It's having a great start.
He is extremely farmed. He actually has an entire mech.
He's got the entire mech. Oh my goodness. What, 10 minutes in? That's disgusting.
10-minute jungle mech. The Alchemist is 1,400 gold from the relic, so
I've got so much money in the side of NIP.
yeah, if they were, you know, they definitely have a timing. Their lanes worked out quite well. This Veno getting as much farm as he did. The Slardar didn't really get that much done early on. He's going to start farming towards his blink now, so we'll give them a little bit of fighting potential once he has that online. But
even that, I mean, you know, you're jumping into a potential, Necro not dying, surviving, hurting you. You're jumping into Venomancer just appearing out of nowhere, making it very hard for you to disengage after getting a pick off.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the thing about Alliance's lineup, like we talked about. They're like very much like they're all gonna jump in and they're gonna kill heroes and like win the fight very quickly by jumping in, blowing heroes up. And whenever you burst a Necrophos, a Venomancer, heroes that say, "Come at me, run at me, I'll press my R button," and you know. And it's very hard for them to commit into this Veno ult, and you're not killing this Veno instantly. He has a mech.
Right up top lane, Jonas Fan does have a hook shot. Harney's there as well. And Loda will be forced to back off. We've actually got a wrap around here from the rest of NIP. Jonas Fan hooking himself away to the creeps, but the lasso's there from Trixie. Now surround the clock. In comes Error with that lovely ultimate to knock him down for 40 seconds. And NIP, it really has been the start that they wanted. The lineup seems to have dealt perfectly with what Alliance had in terms of strengths in the laning stage, and the greed of the Alchemist and the Veno in the jungle has not been punished at all.
Yeah, that's the type of greed that's good. That you know, it's greedy for a little bit early on, but if it's not massively punished, then now this Veno has a mech, and then suddenly he's not really greedy anymore. As you know, he's just extremely strong, can go around, do whatever he wants on the map, pressure all these lanes. And even though he was in the jungle for a very long time, typically you'll see Venos leave the jungle at level 5, 7, stayed in there a little bit longer, knew there was no need to rush anything, and now it's going to sit up top lane and just force heroes to be here. That's so annoying about this Venomancer. They have these heroes, they want to be off the map, they want to be scary, they want to, you know, reduce NIP's farm by doing that, but this Veno just sits here and they force this clockwork to be at the tower, so they know, alright, they're not rotating anywhere.
And I think, kind of as you mentioned earlier, if you're Alliance, you're waiting on those tools for initiation. One of them has just come in as Hansken has now got the Blink Dagger, But as we also mentioned, it's going to be very hard for him to find a clear opening that he can go in and guarantee that his team can find the kill before NIP have the chance of turning it around. As NIP grouping up mid, they have the ultimate from Hani ready to go, level 2 as well now at this stage. So very hard for Alliance to defend against this kind of push.
Yeah, they can't even really fight into this either.
No.
NIP can maybe even just walk straight to the tier 2. They potentially go to Roshan, although it's kind of slow. And Alliance is just really not in shape to fight it. Limp is slowly working on the Bloodstone, is about 300-400 away now, so it's still pretty farmed on the Storm Spirit. But just compared to how massively farmed this Veno is, how skyrocketed the Alchemist is having a 12-minute
classic Qualifier.
Armlet Radiance, just had a free lane, and they set up for this Alchemist perfectly. Giving him these lanes that can pressure on their own, so no one had the potential to rotate onto this Alchemist, and he just had a free early start, had all the jungle camps he wanted, had some stacks, and now they're just going to take this T2 for free in 13 minutes.
Well, yeah, there's nothing that Alliance can do apart from just try and find as much as they can from the map. Loader pushing down bottom, he's trying to frantically finish off a Lincoln Sphere. Jonas and Fan up top again. Very set on the Midas. We did see it earlier in the day from himself on the Clockwork. They did win that game. I mean, are you a fan of that on Clockwork? Just the straight Midas rush each and every time? Or do you feel it should be situational?
I think it is situational. I think he had the Blade Mill queued up a little bit earlier, but I think realizing the state of this game that if we're winning this game, we're not winning it soon. And that's sort of the thing with these lineups. They get super far ahead. You see like everybody racking up on gold. You always have to think about how are they winning the game, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to just like push up high ground. Into Avenge, who can hook you out, or can swap you out, and they hook you in the base, and you're kind of just trapped there. The Slaughter Crush is going to constantly be coming in. Storm can snipe your backline heroes. So they want to get this Aegis. They want Veno to just be massively farmed, potentially get a Solar Crest, and they put it on the Alchemist, and he just walks up on the high ground. So they're going to be working towards that goal. And if Alliance can get to the point where their cores are strong enough to start bringing down these heroes, so they actually have kill potential, the Storm gets an Orchid, although that is quite far away, and it's an entire 4K gold, but if they get up to that, then maybe they can start bringing down these supports and take these fights whenever NIP does get to that point where they're going to start forcing the high ground.
Looks like they're going to try and go for a smoke reveal with Hans Ken's Blink, and immediately find a target that's a very good way to kick off the action. Everybody throwing themselves in on that Veno, making sure that there's no chance for Hani to do anything in response.
Yeah, that's like the optimal kill. If you bring down the Veno at the start of the fight, then they don't have like this massive counterplay where you jump into them and he presses R and then everybody dies.
I mean, they may have killed, but that Veno, he's still got a 15 minutes Guardian Greaves completed. He just managed to pick that up on the way down.
Yeah, I like going for this Guardian Greaves before going for something like the Solar Crest because of the potential of like the Storm getting an Orchid.
Yeah, you've got to throw the stuns at him, otherwise he's going to be able to ult every team fight now.
Yeah, you can purge off the amplified damage as well, so if he's not getting 100 to 0'd, it's going to be very, very hard to kill him, especially with the extra Guardian Greaves regen, all that armor. He is super tanky.
And more net worth than Loader at the moment, and it's very close between the two of them. Obviously a lot of that is down to the fact that they have taken towers. Alliance themselves only have managed to take 2 tier 1s. Loader very close on finishing off that Lincoln Sphere. And that is certainly going to be one of the saving graces really for Alliance's lineup, as we talked about. In terms of what catch for the Weaver, Loader's got a pretty free game in terms of getting himself around. There's still quite a bit of AoE damage though that he does have to be aware of, that there's going to be a nuisance. But Loader can certainly play his way around NIP's drafts, can't he?
Yeah, once he has some items, then he's definitely going to have a pretty nice time in this game. As of now, it's kind of weird because it's hard for him to actually scatter around in these fights and do any damage because they have so much, like, they have so much damage whenever you run into them. They don't really have damage, like, they can't really jump on you and kill you, but if you run at them, then they will kill you. And that's exactly what Alliance wants to do, so I think Loda for now picks up the Lincolns, basically makes him ungankable, so they're just going to be splitting these lanes, trying to split the map as much as possible with the Storm and Weaver. These really mobile cores, and they definitely have the means to do so. It's just sort of a waiting game right now. See if Alliance can get any of these pickoffs as they split the map, because they have the heroes to do so. So, NIP, they had a great start. They had the start they needed, but if they aren't able to get to that stage where they can 5-man, take the racks, get that first set, probably with this Aegis they want to. Maybe the next one, but with that next one, it's going to start to get hard.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, as you said at the start of this game, you still feel that if Alliance can prolong this game, at the end of the day, that's going to be better for their situation with the way that they're building and playing.
Yeah, whenever you're playing versus Storm and a Weaver and you're playing a lineup with no catch, it's just a ticking time bomb. Before heroes start getting out of hand, you're playing these Ogre and Venom supports, and you feel really good now. This Ogre probably doesn't feel great now, but as the game goes farther on, the Storm just kills the Ogre at the start of every fight, or kills the Venom at the start of every fight. It's gonna start becoming really, really miserable. As you can see, everybody from NIP moves on the bottom, and everyone from Alliance goes on the top. So they continue to split the lanes, farm up on these cores. We are actually going for a Maelstrom, so even more farming potential. Not going for any single target.
Oh wow!
Just gonna try and scale as much as possible.
And I guess it does help against the imminent pressure that Ninjas in Pyjamas have against Alliance. You're preparing for dealing with what the high ground push is and having to clear the creep waves out. Well, smoke from NIP. Jump forward from Trixie. Scored himself handskin on the Slardar. And knocked down one, and they're even going to see if they can try and look for a second. EGM trying to hold back Trixie with the magic missile. But Error and the boys surround him. EGM trying to swap his way out of danger. It isn't going to happen, as they'll lose two in quick succession on Alliance.
No buybacks.
We'll try and find a tier 2 in return, and indeed, as you said, if NIP can put on the pressure here, Alliance is going to be limited with their tools of defense, as the tier 3 is getting threatened. Lim coming forward, immediately multicasted up, and in fact, he just goes down. The damage is too much. I mean, we talked about the lack of lockdown, but when Sin gets good multicast, they have more than enough time to kill the Storm Spirit. And NIP, they should get away with at least this tier 3. We'll see what Alliance can do. They do still have a fortification Alliance. They're holding on to it at the moment. They are just going to let the tier 3 fall. NIP will now have the full 5-man of Alliance to deal with. Back on the plate, but Qualifier, he doesn't care. He's chomping into these racks. Holds back EGM with a concoction. And NIP, 20 minutes in, they may get away with this. Lim tries going on to Trixie with a backup of Loader. They do take down the bat, but the melee racks are down. NIP got what they came for. Qualifier still sticking around on the front lines, burning EGM low with the radius. Error jumping forward with the Death Pulse. Oh, he's taken him down. Forces Alliance back to base. Handscan comes in, pounds the ground. He's a mile off from Error. And NIP, they've cleaned out the entirety of the bottom racks. And they're not done yet. They just move straight onto middle.
Yeah, they just can't jump into them on Alliance. They weren't able to split them up to find goal, as I say that.
Oh, they're going to try and make the best better there, going onto Error, but immediately the ult from Arnie comes out. The heals from Error. Jonas and Fan, hook shots across, bringing Error down low. Will find the kill onto the Necrophos, but the rest of Alliance is dead. Loader will buy back. He's trying to head himself over to help out, but Jonas and Fan to fall. The Greaves are popped, and NIP looking very, very good at the moment. Trixie jumps forward, grabs EGM with the lasso, back into the clutches of his teammates. As NIP executing this exactly as you said they needed to, CC&C. Just ramping it up, putting the pressure on. They are doing their best. They're not going to let this one go late at this rate.
Yeah, they know that if this game goes, past 30, 35 minutes, things start getting hairy. These lanes get pushed out very, very quickly by the Storm and Weavers. So they hit that timing. They take their first set of racks, they take the tier 3, now they can get shrines, get even more map control. They're definitely not out of the woods yet. This game is still winnable for Alliance. They're definitely in a better position on NIP, but it's definitely still losable. They have the Blade Mail and the Clockwork now, so potentially have a little bit more kill potential. The bounce back of the Acid Spray and the Radiance is kind of nice on the Alchemist. Obviously, it's pretty good versus the Venomancer, but he doesn't really care so much, as he's just sort of a sponge. He just walks into the fight, presses R, and his job is done.
What do you think about the build that Error went for in this pace of a game as well? Is this not usual, the phase drums Veil, or is this very much just because of the tempo they're trying to dictate this time?
I think the Veil is an item that's commonly picked up. Drums is an item we almost never see anymore, as it's kind of just been eclipsed by like HOD, and then Veil is an item that's picked up just a lot more than the drums nowadays. But I think he just sort of wanted to synergize with this movement speed a little bit, having like the Bloodlust, the Bat Rider, because if they can't really like just catch you and blow you up, and they kind of just want to run you down, which is what they did in a lot of these earlier fights whenever they killed the Slaughter and the Venge and took the initial racks. I think the Blink is alright, gives them that little bit of catch they kind of need, that lack the mobility, so Just a lot of like filling up their shortcomings, I think.
Here we go again, NIP revving up for another high ground siege. They'll drop the tier 3. Alliance were putting some pressure up on the top lane, but they've all backed up now. They know that they can't afford to lose the second set of racks. Qualifier immediately Manton. Manton starting, making sure that there's no chance of being dragged in by Lim. NIP being much more cautious this time round. May see if Trixie can get the pick off to kick things off. He's up with the Firefly. They do have the vision on the high ground. It will be taken down by Loader, making it that little harder for Trixie to find an opening, but it may not matter. Qualifier just goes back in onto the racks. Fortification will come out. Lim again going forward, but again just with the Manta style, causing so many issues. Qualifier has been swapped in, but do they have the damage to bring him down? He's amplified up, forced away once, and he'll just go back to hitting the racks. Jonas and Fan came in on the back lines, was looking for Harney, but the ult comes out from the Veno. Era chops him down with the side, and NIP, they'll clean up a second set of racks. 23 minutes in, Jonas and Fan with no buyback for a minute. And, I mean, this is just NIP absolutely dominating Alliance, it feels, in this game. Is this a drafting thing? Is it just, were Alliance not prepared for this?
I think the Necrophos kind of threw them for a curveball.
Yeah.
I think they expected this Veno to be safe line. They were kind of prepared for that. They have the Clockwork who can like have a decent time up top. But I think whenever this Venomancer is jungled, the Slardar, I don't know if he tried to find him in the jungle and harass him, but he was over on the right side. And so he just had this free time, and then once the Venomancer, you have to be with him at the start or not at all. It's too late.
We've got Alliance trying to fight on the back lines here. Hans getting a Loader. Looking for a kill, trying to finish off Cinderin, but they can't quite do it here. Lim will finally bring him down with his dying blow, but immediately buying back. Cinderin's going to come back into the fray. Qualifier just moves forward. He's far too powerful. They cannot deal with this Alchemist. As Alliance just falling apart, they tap out. 25 minutes in, 20-5. NIP with a draft that was just the perfect answer for what Alliance wanted to do this game. Alliance just, they didn't have a chance from the lanes onwards. It was all downhill for them, and NIP doing something a little bit different, and it really worked, CC&C.
Yeah, I think the Slaughter having the kind of start he did, I think he really needed to have a better start this game. And they don't really have any heroes that can deal with this Veno. Whenever he's just sitting, pressuring these lanes, I think was kind of the issue. You'd see him sitting up top, and the Clockwork is just forced to be there. And so they're not threatened around the rest of the map. They have a Storm and a Weaver heroes who kind of want to farm early on. So really the only hero that can make stuff happen is the Slaughter, but he had such a poor start. Tried to mess with the Necrophos a little bit top, but didn't really get anything done.
It didn't work at all. I mean, Aaron played him easily in that lane, just avoiding the pressure.
And so if this Slaughter is not making stuff happen, that everyone's just trapped in lanes, they know where everyone is, and they're able to just move around the map, 5-man towers, and they hit the timing right on the nose. They didn't wait too long, and they end the game.
Yeah, very, very impressive there from NIP. And Jungle Veno. I mean, I feel like we'll maybe start to see a bit of a surge of that in the pubs. As Harney having a brilliant game. 5-1-14. Incredible start off there. 10-minute Mech and Arcanes, 15-minute Greaves. And a hell of a lot of damage done as well. But of course, I think definitely star of the show once again. Qualifier just getting on one of his signature heroes and giving an absolute signature performance. Over 1,000 GPM. And NIP get the victory against Alliance. But don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will, of course, have more action for you here on this channel. It will be me and CC&C again. And we'll be back very shortly for Team Secret versus Elements Pro Gaming. We'll see you guys in a minute.